Hey everybody, today we are going to jump into this area of the hands and we're going to define it a little bit more. As you can see in the upper right hand corner of the screen, I did a sketch on my iPad of some hands that we're going to essentially just replace what's here currently with those. My daughter just ran by in a fever. Ah, Daddy's streaming! I think she might be running to check the iPad so she can watch me, not knowing that I'm not actually streaming, I'm just recording. We'll find out if she comes out here in a minute screaming what's going on. Alright, let's get into it. So, I think what I'm going to do, I still have these tones mixed up from yesterday, so I might as well play with these. I had a pile here that was a little bit more of a richer shadow, and then that's like the super dark. And then my lighter. So I could block it in with my medium tone and then start building up tones from there. But I'm gonna use this area in here to start and just to see how my paint's laying down. So let's start in there. I'm just gonna put a nice mid-tone in there. And that was dark AF. What I'm looking for. Alright, so now I know that I got a good mid-dark to play with. I will start shaping out these hands. Now, you remember from our last stream, the face is like the size of my thumb, so we're talking like smaller than my pinky nail for these hands here. So let's hope we can get our details in here without too much trouble. So I need to reshape some stuff here because the original sketch where the hands are going to go is kind of wily. Definitely not using the this white bit out here anymore. Now the whole time I'm going to do this, the whole time I did the sketch, I was keeping in mind direction of light, which is coming here, and then wrapping that light around the form. So this will be my shadow side, and then my highlight hits up here. I think I'm gonna just create the basic shape of the hand first, and then go into the digits after get the basic shaping down. So let's see what that looks like. Let's make some big decisions on light and darkness. And I'm not even looking at the reference photo anymore. By the way, the Midjourney AI photo, that is put to rest for right now. We are going to just paint hands the way hands are meant to be painted. Like I said, we're going to make some big decisions with these light tones, and then we'll start shaping things in a minute. Just looking at my sketch, figuring out where the lights and the darks are going to sit. And then also, it's going to be kind of important that I notch out the thumb in the background. So let me do that first and foremost, really quick, get that out of the way. Just going to mix up a little bit of that yellow ochre, a little bit of this transparent red like oxide, a little bit of raw umber, just to get a tone, and then I'm going to obliterate this thumb. Not even like the tone I'm using for the background, but at least I can get that thumb out of there. And also the background will probably get tuned eventually as well, but there we go. And that's gonna go too, so let's get that out of the way. Sweet. Okay, so now with that we've buffed those shapes out, we can ignore that. Move on to painting the rest of this hand. I find, scale myself up here. I find that drawing from life is like one of the most important skills you can have as an artist, but especially drawing difficult things like faces and hands, right? I think that's like everybody's major obstacle. So I think practicing it early on is paramount, and the drawing part of it. And then when it comes to painting, it's going to be a lot of guess and check to get things right. There's no magical formula in any of this, honestly. It's a series of rules. It's a confluence of rules and concepts, but there's no button you can press to make it just work. Right. What I want to be able to do is see some of these shapes in the mush here. It was really helpful to do this little sketch study first because it like reacquainted myself with all the volumes of the hands and the things I need to focus on and make sure to hit in the painting. Again, I did it from without reference, just kind of remembering and guessing what hands may look like. So you can start to see the pinky form there. You can see where it's receiving the light. Sounds like a religious term. You see where it's receiving the light on the top and that fleshy part of the hand. Palm, the side palm, the area that people want to get tattooed. Don't realize that it's not real. Yeah, that's the spot right here. There's another breaking the light in the back of his fingers. Eep, eep, eep. Right there. Right there. The world's tiniest little highlight right there. Alright, cool. Killer. Just a little bit of the thumb. It's going to poke out here, not much. Just enough to catch the light. And okay, so now I have my shadow shape down here. Have the direction of light coming here. Got a couple fingers. I don't want it to get too chunked out, too detailed, if you will. Nah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a fan brush and I'm gonna obliterate it. So I put the tones in. I'm just gonna push them out. Morph them all into each other. Get it nice and smooth. And then we'll come back in and add another layer. So that little block in, layer 1. I mean, there's already been a few layers on this piece. That little block in, for all intents and purposes right now, was layer 1. So now we can go back over that and start putting in layer 2. See how that starts to come back? I know it looks like garbage. The quality of my stream, that is. I tried so hard to set up some new cameras today, but it just wasn't working, so we stick with the webcams, and that is good enough for us. I need to get a little bit of light on where the knuckles would be. And then the tendons that run from the knuckles down this way. Get those indicated. I'm just going to obliterate it again. Real soft, just gonna blow these out here. And really what's going to be crucial, what's going to bring all this together is the darks. You know, the edges, the lines, the shadows, the creases. But I want to make sure to have this base shape down before I start shadowing anything. So let me tune the thumb a little bit here, and then we can start playing with some darks. Nice. I'm going to pull in a lighter tone here. Drop that on my highlight areas. And then once I get this highlight tuned in the way I want it, we'll start putting in some darker edges right next to the highlights. And while I'm doing this, I'm just thinking through all my questions. Values. Is it too dark? Is it too light? Does it need to be lighter or does it need to be darker? Is it too warm? Is it too cool? Is it more orange? Does it need to be more blue? These are all super important questions. Liking that for sure. Nice. Alright. Let's make some things happen. I need another tiny little liner brush. Use this guy. Whip up some darker edge and crease tones here. And we'll start shaping this thing. Now you remember, any area that touches another area creates an occlusion shadow. That's the shadow where two areas touch each other, and it always, at some point, gets full black, which is nerve-wracking to paint, but is gonna herald more realism, so let's see. So what that's doing already is reinforcing that edge in there. And then I get to start working off just the very tippy tip of this brush. Just here real quick so I don't slide too much. Working off the very tippy tip of the brush. Start putting some little shadows in to indicate the shapes of these fingers. You hear me, well, the opposite of hear me. I got real quiet there. Just trying to make some good decisions here without being too distracted. Let's see. The tip, I'm going to shape a knuckle here. Actually need a deeper shadow for that. Do it for there. We're going to come off of the separating line between the index finger and the thumb. And then the knuckles as well. Shape those out a little bit. is fun. This is fun. Now, even something as tiny as this area, like look at the tip of my paintbrush. See how tiny that hand is. Even something as tiny as this will ultimately get a little bit of glazing in the back end. Yeah, that's like my most... It's definitely my favorite part of painting. Is like tuning and shaping things with shadow glazes. A few videos back we did it on some of the outer alley walls. Again, just barely working off the tip of this brush. I always like to do this, but I'll upload some zoomed in still photos of the before and the after on my socials, so you can see really, really close up how things are looking. Okay, so I got those shaped out. I'm gonna need to provide a little bit of shadow on the back of each finger. So let me start with this pinky. And then just run them down. I want to make sure that these hands are proportional. A little dainty. Right now her pinky looks too stubby. So I'm going to come back with my... Where's my other brush? Something I've yet to point out. I'm holding two brushes so that one has some dark tone and one has some light tone on it, so I don't muddy up my colors going back and forth between the two. If I used the same light brush and then kept darkening it, then lightening it, then darkening it, then lightening it, it definitely will work, but can lead to a little bit of muddy. It's going to be a tiny little addition here. More proportional. You know what I want to do? The fleshy part of the hand here, I'm going to pull it back. If you look at my reference, you can see that it's not as large and bulbous. There we go. Feeling a little bit better. Just got that crab claw of the finger now, so I'm going to fatten it up. I barely have to go back to my palette on this because these are just tiny little drops of paint. So it's not like loading up. It's not like a tattoo needle. You're gonna dip every single time you put anything into the skin. You gotta go right back to dipping again. These brushes will stay open and wet for quite some time. Hell yeah, looking cool. All right, so now we're getting close, but we're not all the way there. So what should I do? Start making more sense here. I feel like I need to blend out some midtones and blend these lights into these darks. So I'm going to go ahead and take my big fan brush again. I mean, look how big the head of this brush is compared to. I'm going to sneeze. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back post sneeze. Very delicately, as Bob Ross would say, 2 hairs and some air. Buff that into each other. Nice. And then let me drop in a couple new highlights. So we got a set of knuckles here and a set of knuckles here. This highlight here is pretty harsh, so let's see if we can balance that. Oh, nice. Nice soft blend. Alright. Might as well take the full highlight all the way up to the edge here. It's such a light pressure that you can barely even tell that you're painting. So I just gotta watch it. Alright, so I pulled that and it pulled the highlight down here and made it look more like a crab claw. So I really need to work with these shadows on the back here. In order to pop this hand forward off the background, I think I should create a much darker shadow in all of this. It's worth an experiment. Let's give it a shot. So instead of having that tone, let's take it like really close to black, and then I'll just pull more light forward if I have to. And then the worst case scenario is I just let it dry and follow it back up after it's dry with another layer. But let's see, let's make some bold strategic moves here. Yeah, I think adding some darker tones here is really going to help separate us. We just need to make sure the value of the shadow is deeper than the value of the background here, so it really pops forward. Go ahead and blend that up into here. Remembering that the majority of the light is being received on the top end and not where the turn happens coming back this way. Nice. And this is stuff where I'm like, again, we don't have a reference that we're going off of today. We're painting hands sans reference. So just operating off principles, right? Principles of balance of light and shadow. I gotta tell you, I'm really excited with how this is going. Making sure to keep it warm down here because as things move to their shadow side, they get warmer, contrary to what you may think. It's starting to take some good form there. Really liking that. And you know what? Let's be bold. Let's take some of this dark here, where the fingers are touching and where the hands clasp together, and see if we can get it to like a full dark. Starting to get somewhere. Let's do something wild really quick. Let's flip our canvas and get a perspective. Go ahead and make some adjustments on here first. And let's make some adjustments on the easel. Go. This bad boy will throw like this. All right. This is our first time turning this canvas and looking at it from a new angle. So it immediately jars your brain into seeing things differently. It's like you're seeing it for the first time, so you can easily identify what's going on as far as any issues. And I'm already seeing, God, this is such a useful tool, turning your canvas. I'm already seeing that the palm side of this hand is not coming up far enough, so we gotta do all that. These are looking okay, but I need some more definition. The knuckles back here, and then the lines running, the tendons running down, and then I need to carve the edge in this way a little bit. So let me start all of that by adding a little bit of palm shape to the obstructed hand. Got to keep in mind where the light is coming from, because it is now technically coming this way instead of, my original direction. But it's not too hard to figure out, because you just look at what we got so far and you can totally tell where the highlights are hidden. And then after I finish doing this, I'm going to tell you something that I've noticed. A-okay in my book. It just is going to require some tuning on the back end. The flesh tones in the arm, the ankles, the face, the back of the arm, they're much warmer than these because I haven't mixed with any transparent red like oxide yet to give it that warmer orange. And if I have too many layers of splotch paint here, I might want to wait for that to set up, to cure, to dry a little bit before I go through over the top with some of that. We'll give it a little shot while we're still streaming here. But, alright, cool. Getting closer. And I think we should do a pinky ring middle. Sharper. Got some knuckles that need to be indicated. We gotta pull the tendons down this way. That little tip of the thumb that's back there, but it's gonna get lost in the sauce if I don't do a little tuning on that. So let us go ahead and give it another little thumb. Cool. Alright, so now Let's see, is it... I really want to warm these tones up, so let's give it a shot. And if we screw up, that's fun too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some transparent red lake oxide and kind of, sort of, a little bit, just drop right over what we got already to provide a little bit more warmth. See that? Now it is a completely different value than what was originally there and now behind it, so we'll need to do some more pushing. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. The side of this palm is kind of like a straight angle right now, and it's going to have a little bit of a bump to it. So I will tune that too. So I'm going to take this transparent red lake oxide, because that's my tone that's going to warm up what's there. Mix it a little bit with the shadow tone I already have to make a warmer shadow. And we wanted to get it as dark as we could. So let's grab a little alizarin crimson, a little French ultramarine blue, a little raw umber, and create a warm black. That we could then take this and dip into. Now, this could have been all done later with glazing in direct painting methods, but why not do it right now with some direct painting methods? We're already painting. It's fine. Brushes, so I'm going to pull out another brush here for some highlights. Before I do that, let me get a dark edge back on there. So when we added these new shadow tones, we kind of lost the blackness of the bottom edge here. I feel like that was a pretty cool, crucial little move that we got. She's saying here? Okay, love you. It's always crucial to say goodbye to the wife. Nice. Getting closer. And again, this is just pushing and pulling. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Pushing stuff into the background, pulling stuff into the foreground. Is that a bad move? Might have been. Probably was. But that's okay. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with it. That feels better already. Made the tip look less like a sausage. And I need to figure out what the hell these where these knuckles are. This is ridiculous. So if I have my first set of knuckles back here, boom, and then it's going to be a turn here, boom, and then a turn there. So let me knuckle here. And we're literally talking about the correct hand here. Well, the opposite direction. We're talking about this knuckle being what's mostly protruding here. That doesn't feel right. Because I feel like this is your top knuckles and then boom and then boom. So I need to shape this out better. I need to go higher here. Sharper down that way. Higher there. Sharper down on that angle. Then take my midtone. My warm midtone. If the light is coming and hitting here, it's going to hit most of that finger, but not the side of the back. And then a little bit of dark. Shape this out. There's going to be a little opening there if the fingers are that splayed. We're going to need to see a little bit of darkness here. A bit of a cast shadow from the adjacent finger. The adjacent finger is the name of my new ska band. Alright, that's starting to feel better now. She does look like she's got a big, meaty, man hands Seinfeld look to it. So what do I gotta do to solve that? I think it's the muscular tone here and how short that pinky looks. It makes it look like the muscles are huge right there. So I will elongate that pinky a little bit. Let's try that. Take this gap further. Already solving the issue. Nice. So now her finger feels a little bit more dainty. Nobody had warned me that your fingers would be so dainty. Getting somewhere. So a lot of times when I paint, almost all the time, like 98% of my painting, I kind of do like the dead eyes. It blurs everything out so I can see the averages of everything. But then every once in a while you gotta really sharpen up and zone in. So I'm going to sharpen up and zone in now. Start to define the edge by pushing the background back further. Subsequently sharpen the foreground. And maybe part of, I could be wrong, and we're going to give it a shot together and see what happens, but maybe part of the man hand's meatiness is that that highlight that the light is hitting is so high up without it wrapping that maybe that makes it a little bit too like heavy muscular. Let's see what Madame Ruby sees. Just darken the hell out of the back of that hand there. a second for that. Let me just do that now. Just get it out of the way so I don't have to think about it. Right, so let's sharpen up the back there a little bit. And let's see what happens if we drop. Pull this back. See how it's a game of like inches, not yards. Yeah, that's helpful. She's looking pretty chill. Back to where we were originally. There we go. All right. Looking much better than where we started, that's for darn sure. I want to see the hand in the background a little bit more defined. So right now it's got way too much light hitting here, so let me push all of that backwards. Nice warm dark. This will subsequently pull the foreground fingers forward. Yeah, no problem with that. Okay, cool. I feel like the gap that I put between this finger no longer makes sense. Close that back up. I feel like it's the sharpest knuckle you've ever seen now. So, we're going to a little bit. Let me round it with my background. Putting more in the foreground. That's better. Still not at the magic trick part of today's session. Magic trick meaning there's always a part in a tattoo or a painting where once one little piece clicks, it all makes sense. You're like, oh my god, there it is. Still haven't found that necessarily yet. Did I ever bring that out? Can't remember if I ever worked on this edge here. Sorry, bumping my camera. There, hopefully that works. Nice. Liking it. Enjoying where this is going so far. Hopefully you are too. I'm going to keep working on the shape of the side of the palm in the background here. Again, just barely dancing off the tip here. brush. Going to bring a little bit of this arm back because I lost it, I think in the last painting session maybe. Oh yeah, there's a big old area that needs to be tuned. Look at this big chunk. If your arm looked like that, you'd go to the hospital. You would not sit for a painting. Say, Doc, I need a better arm. And I'm gonna use, I want it to be like a brighter, warmer tone. Mix that up on the tip of my brush. Nice. Closer. What else should we do? We got a few minutes here. Let's. Well, I got that tone out, and this is like still pretty close to white. Drop in some of that warm tone there. Turn that shadow. What's up? Yeah, what do you need?
Then you would have to, then your hands will get dry because you're going to wash your hands multiple times. Morning.
Yeah, that's not a problem. All right, I'm gonna put in a couple more warm tones here, and then I'll call it quits for the day. Sounds good, babe. I'm recording for the stream, yeah. It's not live right now, it's just recording. Just doing dad stuff. Okay, her tattoos are creeping up a little high here, so I'm gonna back them off down her wrist so she can maintain a respectable position as a server while she's going through chasing her dream ballet. So I'll take it to there. And then I'm going to need the lighter mid-tone, which I'll bring to about here. And I'll need the lightest light tone, which will come to about here. There we go. That background needs to come up a little bit higher. Background underneath her hand. This little section here. I don't want it. I want to have a nice sharp edge, you know. And also, if we want that to be the hand to be dark, to provide the contrast, then we need light next to it. So let's grab some dark yellow ochre. And we don't want it to be straight yellow, so we will neutralize it with a little tiny bit of violet. When in doubt, add violet. Bring the value back up. It's like mostly violet now, so I gotta come back in and re-yellowify it. Off to the side with a little titanium white. Alright, I'll try that tone. Try this tone. Help us carve these in. Yeah. Wood. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, there will be a kids section just so the kids don't get sad and with craft sheets.
All right, I think that's gonna do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching me paint some hands. I'll post the updated pic in the comments, in just the posts of the page. I'm not sure, but you'll be able to find it on my socials too. Thanks for tuning in. Do the normal stuff. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, all that. And if you want to continue watching me fail my way through getting back into painting, keep following. All right, thanks.